Hey folks, welcome back to the Preconstruction Podcast. I am delighted to welcome Hamid Hajian here. He is CEO and co-founder, or only founder?
Yes.
Oh, he's on his own. He's on his, for Zebel. Now, we have had Hamid on probably around 2 years ago now, but there's been some major developments with Zebel. Please share.
Yes, we are excited to be here. We have been coming to this show for the past few years. The first time I came to this show was 2017. This is where I presented the very original idea behind Zebel back when I was in Precon Manager. I showed people some spreadsheets that I had built, and excited to be here and making some big announcements here about Zebel tonight.
So 2017, and this is probably a good place to start. Back then, historical data wouldn't have been as talked about as it is now. Like, it would have been fairly early. What was the response when you went up? You kind of showed them what your thought was. What was the response? Was it?
Our presentation was rated as the second most liked presentation in the whole conference.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why Advancing Preconstruction kept inviting us back to the conference. And later on, after we started the company, we started coming here as a partner of the conference, and we have a much bigger presence this year.
So that's how Zebel was born.
Yes, that's.
So for anybody that doesn't know or hasn't listened to the previous podcast, by the way, I will put the link to the previous podcast in the show notes. Tell us what Zebel is.
Zebel is a pre-construction data analytics platform. We work with developers and general contractors who are struggling with organizing their historical data in scattered spreadsheets.
That's everyone.
And that's everyone, yes. That's how we used to operate when I was in Precon. And we help them organize their spreadsheet data into an actual database, organized for particular purpose of pre-construction and cost estimating. So they can use our analytical tools to put that data to use and come up with quick cost estimates at early stages of development. When you have a napkin sketch, basically, when you have nothing, it gives you something.
Brilliant. Yeah. I mean, it's incredibly valuable, and obviously on the owner side as well, on the developer side, for a general contractor, even going into a conceptual estimate, or as we've seen now, the collaborative delivery method that's been used, design build, design assist. Surely this tool just helps them massively.
Absolutely. You'll see this trend in the industry that the developers bring in their GC partners as early as possible, and even as early as the conceptual stage, to get some feedback on the pricing, how much does it cost, which direction should they go with their design. And with Zebel, they can come up with data-driven cost estimates early on. Even with the back of a napkin design, you can come up with an accurate cost estimate and make better decisions off of that, rather than some gut feeling cost per square foot kind of number that people would throw around, pulled out of thin air.
Yeah. So let's run a scenario here. So say there's like a mid-sized GC running 500, 600 million a year. They said, wow, I could use a product like that. How quickly and how easy is it to get it up and running?
Yeah, great question. We have a dedicated customer service team, and our solution actually is comprised of two components. One is service, and then is software. We call the service component pre-concierge, pre-con concierge.
I love it.
So we have a pre-concierge services. It starts there. That's where the journey starts. That means they're going to just dump all of their historical spreadsheets they have. Just send it to us, or if they have it on their Procore account, just give us the keys. We'll go mine all of the information from there and create a database, cohesive database for them. And we get them up and running in a month or so. And after that, the software piece is very easy. It's very user-friendly. I built it for myself, so it had to work.
Yeah.
And from that point on, their data is really available at their fingertips, and they can use it for running unlimited number of estimates really quickly.
Brilliant. And I always hear people talking about data points, specific data points. Do you kind of consult with them at the beginning to decide what data points you're going to run with?
Yes, we obviously, because we come from a pre-con background, we have our own opinions on what kind of data. We can give them our recommendations on what kind of information you need to gather. Generally speaking, we recommend gathering two types of data. One is what we call cost data, basically all of the dollars the budgets. And the second piece is, which is equally important, is the design data or the metrics. Where was the project? How big was it? What was the acreage of the site? How many floors? What was the gross square foot? How big was the garage? Things like that. But depending on the type of project, you want to gather relevant information. If you're building a hospital, you want to know the number of inpatient rooms, and if there is a parking garage attached to it, how big was the garage? Versus if it was a multifamily project, you need to know how many studios, 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms you have, depending on what project. And the platform is so customizable, people can come up with their own parameters, so we don't really impose anything to them. Because one thing that I've learned in pre-con is no two pre-con manager can agree on what to call these metrics. Like someone calls it GSF, the other one calls it gross SF. What does it include? Does it include the balconies or not? Is it the center of the walls or outside? We leave it up to them. You define your terms and you work off of it.
Brilliant. Because when we talked 2 years ago, Zebel was mainly multifamily, but there's been a bit of a shift, a bit of a growth development.
Yeah. We that was a conscious decision to stay focused on a particular sector of the market to make sure that we really dial down the logic behind the platform, and it's been working very well. And now we are here excited to announce that we are now expanding outside of multifamily, and our inaugural non-multifamily customer is Amazon.
Fantastic.
They are using it for their last mile delivery stations.
Ooh,
and
nice.
we are going to hear from our Amazon customer actually tomorrow right after the keynote speech.
Oh, nice. So
Yes.
they're coming up to talk about Zebel?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
What are we going to hear? Give us a quick insight.
So basically you're going to hear their story of how they're currently dealing with their Excel data. And in case of Amazon, as you can imagine, they have this huge operation, all of these new warehouses that they need to keep building, and their estimating team has a challenging task on hand. And consistency and speed is the name of the game for them. For especially the big developers or big GCs, the bigger you are, the bigger the challenge is, because you have multiple offices, multiple estimators, and if you are operating out of Excel, that means you're giving them a free hand to whatever format you want to put up. Yes, you can create some templates, put some constraints around it, but at the end of the day, you end up with a pile of spreadsheets buried in folders and subfolders, and it becomes a nightmare to just access it. Worse than that, when a newcomer joins your team and they're looking for stuff, they have to just talk to Jack and Joe and ask, where did you save it? Which folder is it? Then after that, you see a bunch of Excel files. Oh, here it says final construction cost. Oh, there's another one. Final revision to final, including the plumbing bust. So we just take away all of that.
Yeah.
We give them an actual database. So we are truly the industry's first construction cost database, and not just cost again. The design metrics too.
Yeah, amazing. And that's, people overlook that a lot. See the whole idea of bringing newcomers on and training them up with the software. If everything's there, the process is there, the workflow's there, it just saves so much time. Absolutely.
And you have to make a decision as an organization whether you want all of that institutional knowledge to reside in somebody's head or in an actual system. I call those people who are kind of holding that institutional knowledge walking databases. If you do not have an actual database, you have a lot of walking databases, and any minute that they walk out the door, you lose a lot of information.
Hamid, we're having a massive problem with that now, and it's to me it's construction wide, but to me specifically pre-construction, and specifically within pre-construction it's on the MEP side.
Yes.
There is probably about 27, 28 MEP estimators, true pre-construction estimator professionals that are going to retire in the next 5 to 10 years.
Wow, yeah.
And when they not walk out of our industry, it is going to be bedlam. There's going to be so many problems. So succession planning is so difficult. But as you say, we can't download their brain. We can't download that database that they've got in their head. So getting it onto something like Zebel would be highly beneficial.
Exactly. Just like imagine like 10, 20 years ago, before all of these modern construction management platforms are out there, people were managing their construction operation, their RFI processing, everything that happens during the course of construction in combination of emails and PDFs and Excel spreadsheets. And nowadays, you cannot even imagine running a sophisticated company without having a construction management platform. It's the same thing with pre-construction. It's just lagging. And 5-10 years from now, you're not going to be a serious general contractor or developer if you do not have a serious pre-construction infrastructure.
Yeah, and what's really refreshing is the young companies coming up. They're pre-construction services focused, they're tech focused, and they're getting stuff done, and they're taking all the heavy lifting off their people. So what's Hamid? What's next for Zebel? What's the really exciting thing for you? Obviously, you've gone in now to the non-residential or kind of expanded the option.
Yes.
What's the next phase?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of exciting stuff ahead of us. To give you a general idea of where we are headed, as part of our business, we aggregate data from our developers and general contractor partners that we work with, and we anonymize it. We let them look at that, what we call market data, and benchmark their cost against the market. And as we are expanding our customer base, we are expanding our market database. It's the world's only and first actual construction cost database. And now that we are amassing this huge database, we are going to run some AI models on them to learn from it, to automate a lot of the processes that happen in pre-construction. So that's what we are really excited about, and especially with the advent of large language models. Imagine being able to not only accessing your database, even talking to your database, talking to your historical data. If you want to know how much you spent on windows per unit for project X, even instead of clicking in the software, just ask it, just like how you talk to Siri.
Chat GPT stuff?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
How far is that away?
Call it Precon GPT.
you got some names for things. How far away from something like that?
Oh, we'll have to see. We are really focused on this expansion right now. We are very excited about, just like how we focused on particular sector of the market for the first couple of years of the company, and it paid off very well. We never got distracted with just too many different directions, and that's how we intend to operate. But those are the kind of stuff in the horizon.
Mastering the tool, I like it.
Yes.
Hamid, if there's anybody listening now and going, you know what, Zebel sounds something that I need in my business, where's the best place to get you?
Yeah, check out our actually brand new website now. www.zebel.io. Check it out. You will see a lot of information. Now we have a lot of case studies there, a lot of white papers, a lot more content to educate yourself around what we do.
Brilliant. And listen, folks, if you're looking for that, I'll put it in the show notes below. Hamid, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much.